Hey guys. How's it going? Starting a little bit early, as I like to do sometimes. So hopefully, I say hopefully, that's all right with you guys. Good evening, Neil. How's it going? There we go. All right. Fantastic episode. Yes, Drew. Clone of Jonathan. Welcome to the rank of Lieutenant. Welcome aboard, Lieutenant. Thank you for joining the channel. Much appreciated. You will be in our fleet videos. Neil. Evening, Captain. Chuck A. And Neil's like, good, you. I'm good. Good. So, yeah. 23 likes already. Goddamn. Hold on to your saddles. Yes, sir. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Excuse me. 7, 8, 9, 10. Excuse me. I'll get to the rest of the drinks for the likes a little bit later. Olivia throws in $5. I am Olivia, and I know the captain. Yes, this is very true. Hello, Olivia. Good to see you. Damn, Cap. Already. Well, I said, one sip or one drink for every like, and we have 30 likes already right off the hop, which is awesome. So, might have to reevaluate that plan, but we'll see. But good to see you, Geraldine. Mark. Oh, Ozzy's here. Hello, Ozzy. Mark says, had a few gripes, but I enjoyed this episode. Oh, a few grapes, eh? I enjoyed it too. I thought it was very much a TOS style episode. It also felt like it could be a Stargate episode to me, just with the whole premise being as it was. So, yeah, but I also enjoyed it. Don't really have any gripes per se, but Captain Corky, evening, Captain. I can only stick around for a little bit because I got to work at 5 a.m. But what did you think of the return of Rigel 7, or the return to Rigel 7? I thought it was good. The cage happens. The cage is the first mission right after Rigel 7, the initial contact, where it all went to shit, and Pike was lamenting about that. It's good to find out what happened, and it establishes that was 5 years ago. So yes, the cage happened 5 years prior to this. A lot of people get confused and think the cage happens after this. That is not the case. So awesome call on that one. That was great to see. My gripes were more nitpicks. I didn't really have any nitpicks in this one either. So Eric Martin is here. Chuck A. Me, no other. Remember your past. We're God 6. I'm glad we got back into the ship stuff. The last 2 episodes were good, but not enough ships. I agree. Not a lot for Trekyards to do, really. Ryan K. Seen this kind of episode before in sci-fi, but was interesting and well done, in my opinion. Yes, it's very much a sci-fi premise. Fleet Paw throws in $5. Good to see Fleet Paw. I'm Fleet Paw, and I throw annoying folks out of the airlock, and I'm in a mood to do so tonight. Don't test me. Well, there you go. Me, no other. Stargate did borrow plot points from Star Trek. That's not what I'm saying. There's just so many stories you can tell in sci-fi. This one felt very, very, very Stargatey. Like Pike would have been O'Neill. Mbenga would have been Daniel, and La'an getting injured. I could see that being Carter. So I'm not remembering who they are or where they're from. BJ Tehran is here. Ozzy says he can fly the ship. Pike's Peak, yes. Eric Martin, I like the traditional flight controls on the shuttle. I hadn't seen that before. Other Stargate could be a prequel. War God 6. Are we gonna get any new ships? I wonder if we're gonna get any new Klingon ships. Will we get a strange new world Klingon bird of prey? I hope not. But yeah. Anyway, that's a whole other topic. Ryan K. Fun fact: Stargate did in fact do an episode like this. Stargate Atlantis for sure. Probably, yeah. Neil Hammersmith, Stargate did a similar episode called The First Commandment. Well, there you go. Mark says, my big nitpick was Yeoman's uniform. Should have been the Cage uniform since Discovery showed a clip from the Cage. 100% agree with that. That is a good point. Jonathan Bell, though, $10. Thank you for the super chat, by the way. After 2 full years, it's time to resign my commission. Starfleet insists they can't get me home to Earth sooner than 30 days, so I'm training clone of Jonathan to assume my duties. Wish him well. Oh. So Jonathan Bell and clone of the same person? I'm confused as to what's going on, but thank you for the super chat, Jonathan. Olivia throws in $5 and says, I'm Olivia. According to the markings on my arm, I am a moderator and sworn enemy of the Fleet Pause. And then clone of Jonathan. Thanks, Cap. It's the same picture. So glad you're still around, Jonathan? Or is it the clone of Jonathan? I don't know. Anyway. BJ throws in $5. At Fleet Paw. Where are you? Or what are you? Belt Aloda? Out the airlock with you inner. Yeah, there's an Expanse reference for you there. SC Scout Guy, that asteroid must have been made out of something different than the one the Pegasus was trapped inside of. I would say so, yes. Eric Martin, so the Cayuga must be one of the original 12 Connies. No, it's not, though. See, that's the problem. That is a nitpick as well. To be fair, it could be a Sombra class. It could be like the USS Peregrine. Well, it uses Constitution class parts. Anyway, Matthew DeFreitas, there was actually another man on the bridge other than Spock in this one. Oh, yes, I saw him walk across. I wondered who he was. He looked like somebody that was like part of the production team or something that wanted a walk-on role. BJ says, have we run into any yeoman in Discovery or Disco or Strange New Worlds? I don't think so. That's a very good question. I don't believe so, no. But this guy was a yeoman, so I mean, Zach Nugent. Was that his name? Zach something. Anyway. Ozzy says, Miss Olivia, where are cookies? They're in your browser. Your cookies are in your browser, Ozzy. Neil Hammersmith, are they taking an episode to focus on each character, or Tegas's narration seem like a page from TNG Data's Day? A little bit, but this didn't follow her day-to-day. Like, it wasn't quite the same feel as Data's Day, but yes, I mean, this was an Ortegas episode, and that being said, there was still a lot of Rigel 7 stuff. I thought everybody did a fantastic job again with this one. Mbanga I liked. La'an didn't do much, and Pike was good. Pike was great in this one. Who knew that a silver serving platter could deflect a phaser bolt? I wish it would have had real phasers. I wish that would have had cage phasers. Cage style phasers in that crate would have been amazing. But no, they got the stupid old Enterprise rifles, the Mako rifles, which is just dumb to me, but whatever. That'd be a perfect chance to show off just even one cage style communicator or laser, because they weren't phasers then. That would have been cool to see, even if it was restyled or whatever. It would have been neat. But they missed that opportunity. Ozzy says, was it Sam Kirk on the bridge? No. BJ says, Cayuga, some in Strange New Worlds go to the Cornell University. Some famous ship named Cayuga in Starfleet history. To make worthy has a Connie name. Sure. Sean O'Sullivan. You see, one of the other people lost on the planet was C. Plummer. Oh, Christopher Plummer. I didn't notice that, no. Geraldine, Ozzy, come to the dark side. We have cookies. BJ says the serving platter was great. Pike should have taken it for Starfleet R&D. Maybe it's vibranium. Maybe that's what the ore that the castle and their helmets were made out of. I thought those were disco rifles, Stuart. Yeah, they are. But they're similar enough to the Mako rifles. But you're right. That's what I meant to say. Anyway, regardless. Now, the interesting thing with the helmets being made of the same ore as the castle, I love that. I wish that would have been incorporated into the story with Ortegas's hat, where they're like, you're actually wearing the hat. Oh yeah, the hat's kind of like where it's at, you know. It would have been cool if she had a helmet instead, and then if it, made of the same material so that it wouldn't, read as anything different or be anything different, and then she didn't go down. And if she would have been there with them, the helmet would have protected her. That would have been awesome. That would have been an awesome reveal. The hat is cool enough, but honestly, a helmet would have been better in that situation, I think, as a kind of a foreshadowing. And told you so. You should have taken me down to the planet. Anyway, whatever. Her piloting was kind of cool. The whole threading the needle, like phaser thing, like through. First of all, you hardly remembered that was your station. You hardly remembered how to fly because she sits down and Spock says, you know how to operate this? And she's like, I think so. So how are you going to incorporate phasers into your flying routine if your memory's not great? Like, that just didn't make a lot of sense either. And then smashing the ship through that because it still had to smash through, which you just hope and pray that it doesn't cause any damage, I guess. So there is that. I mean, that's kind of a weird thing, but whatever. It's fine. It's fine. Eric Martin, I guess Pike can put on quite a show in half an hour. You wouldn't think that would be a badge of honor. Put on quite a show in half an hour. What do you mean? Verpine, the phasers must have been at absolute minimum settings this episode. Well, you say that, but when Pike had it, aimed at Zach, it was set to kill. It had the red ring on it. So it would have killed him. It wasn't blue. So, yeah. But they had the deltas on them. Deltas on things are important. That way you know it's yours. You know it's Starfleet's. Mark says, great update to the Rigel 7 aliens. Agreed. Olivia shares all of our really cool emojis. Thank you, Olivia. Ryan K, I had a problem when she used the phaser too. Yeah, it was kind of stupid, honestly. But Neil Hammersmith, how is it that Ortega's pilot's controls look as advanced as something we saw on the Titan? They're not advanced. They're very simplistic, actually. She had like a little four-way arrangement under her right hand, and then she was doing something else with the left hand. And then these two big buttons for, I guess, for barrel rolls? I don't know. The whole time I'm watching that scene, I'm thinking they should make a game out of this. They should do this like they did Bridge Crew, where you can go on the Kelvin ship, the Aegis, and fly that thing. Like, the Aegis controls are really cool. Despite the fact that it's a Kelvin ship, Kelvin alternate reality ship, whatever you want to call it. So, I mean, I would love them to do a new game based on Strange New Worlds. I think that'd be kind of cool, especially if it's in VR. I would love to get on that bridge, but Neil Hammersmith, how is it that it'll take? Oh, I just read that one. I do that a lot. I apologize. Fleet Paw says the mission to Rigel 7 always bugged me from the cage. I'm glad there was a resolution to it. Would this be a retcon or an expansion of what came before? How is it a retcon in any way? In the cage, he's, like I said, lamenting over that mission. We lost people. It was a failure. It was like a 4-hour failure essentially, and now we hear more about it. It's not. It's not at all a retcon. It is very much. I mean, even in the cage, we do see him fighting one of the Regilians, or the Kalar, or whatever they're Kalons, or whatever they were called. Kalar, I think they were called. So it's not a retcon. It's just adding to the lore, I would say. The first mission was 4 hours. It ended in a bloodbath. They had to get out of there. I can't believe for a second, and this is, he's like, Spock was bleeding out. I didn't have time to count inventory or whatever. It's like, dude, you had cases of weapons on this planet. You failed as a captain to leave those there. Can't you beam them up after? Well, they say that the planet's atmosphere is bad for that, I guess. So there's that caveat. But yeah, leaving all that shit there, man. What was up with that? Verpine says minimum kill setting just above stun. Ah. Get minimally killed instead of just fully killed. Gotcha. BJ says Ortega's flying the ship got more emotional. That brought back more memories, which led to her utilizing the phasers and escaping the asteroid belt. I'll buy it. I'll buy it for sure. She was having fun, gotta say. SC Scout Guy, are there any other doctors on the ship other than Dr. Mbanga? It appears no. Just him and Chapel. And she's not even a doctor. I love when he gives the line too of, yeah, I always love it when I have to go on a landing party, when a doctor has to go on a landing party for his fighting skills. It's like, oh, okay, yeah, nice reference. That's just a reference to the actor's martial arts ability, which they've shown off in like 3 episodes this season now out of 4. So we get it. Martial arts. Let's we don't have to keep focusing on that. You don't have to be a badass. You don't be John Wick. John Wick MD, if you will. You don't have to do that shit. Captain Corky, I did notice that the castle protected them from the radiation. How come Pike had his first blackout in the castle? My assumption it was from how long he had already been outside. Yes, that's exactly what it is. He was just brought in, and he had it. And like the guy said at the end, your memories must be coming back. You've been in here long enough. So I just assumed it was a quicker in and out, or like just take them to the throne room area, and then I don't know. That's a good question though, but I think that's easily explained. BJ says the graphic of Rigel 7 in the briefing room looked a bit like the TOS planet, as it should. Paul Hitchcock. I thought the show would end with Pike receiving a distress call from the USS Cayuga. I think the Cayuga will be the ship Spock and Chapel are seen on in previews for this season. Interesting. I really thought the Cayuga would come to the rescue of them. Like they would notice that they were out of contact or something, or on long-range sensors they could detect that the Enterprise was doing some funky shit out by the asteroid belt. And this is another planet with an asteroid belt. There was one in season 1. There was one earlier this season. It's like, stop having planets with asteroid belts around them, first of all. But I thought the Cayuga would come to the rescue and kind of save the day, but not so much. Ryan K said, never liked the stun and kill settings. Prefer multiple power levels, far more flexible. Agreed. Well, they all have them. The TOS phaser rifle has, or the TOS phaser has multiple settings, and the phaser rifle has a slider for its intensity. So it doesn't just have stun and kill. Because the TOS phaser has, like, there's heat, there's disintegrate, there's kill, there's stun, there's a few other settings that goes up to 9 or 10, I believe. So Ozzy says, so when does Dr. Boyce become Chief Medical Officer of the Enterprise under Captain Pike? That was at least 5 years ago that he was the Chief Medical Officer. Ozzy, that happened before the Cage, and during the Cage, he was the Chief Medical Officer as well. That's 5 years past. That's gone. BJ says they went on a peaceful recon in the first visit to Rigel 7, not knowing it was populated, heavily armed with phaser rifles. We come in peace, shoot to kill, shoot to kill. No, that's not the case. They didn't. See, Sam said the same thing. I like to think they went down, got in this scuffle, and maybe the Enterprise had a clear shot to transport something down, so they transported down some weapons and some medical equipment, because there's medical stuff in that crate as well. That would make perfect sense, and maybe Pike wasn't quite aware of what got transported down, although that's shoddy records keeping, by the way. So he didn't know to retrieve it. But it would make sense that they would beam down weapons if they got into an engagement like that. That's my guess. Fleet Paw says perhaps retcon was a poor choice of words, maybe reimagining. I don't know. Regardless, I was happy with it, so it gets a solid rating from me. It's not a reimagining. It looks very similar to Rigel 7 that we saw in the Cage. The castle's pretty similar. There's a lot of similarities, actually. There's some differences as well. But yeah, it's just referencing what we've seen before, so just updated like everything visually in the show. Neil Hammersmith, Babs won numerous Pan-American black belt masters competitions. Good for him. Mark says Boyce was before Mbanga. Yes. Judge. Ooh, Judge 1881 is here. Hello. Aloha. Fleetpaw. Janice Rand used to heat one up. Used one to heat up coffee, for fuck's sakes. And let's not forget The Enemy Within. I always get the title of that one mixed up with another one, where there's the two Kirks and Sulu and the landing party are on the planet, and they can't beam them back. They also don't know they have shuttles yet, because that was season 1. And Sulu uses his phaser to heat up a rock to act like a campfire to keep them warm on this cold planet. So yeah, there is heat settings for sure. Neil Hammersmith, the Pike Batal romance angle reminds me of a TNG episode, Lessons, with Picard and Neela Darren. Judge 1981, phasers are probably set by levels. War God 6, metal trays can reflect phasers? No, they deflected them, not reflected. We already had that discussion, so. Judge 1981, Fleet Paw, you sexy son of a gun. Wow. You two go get a room. Mr. Captain 93. Was that Rigel 7 mission mentioned in the Cage? Yes. Yes, it was. He was talking to Dr. Boyce about it. It's the mission they just came off of, that it was a complete failure and he lost crew members. And he didn't like the responsibility of being a captain. He didn't want to be in charge of, people's lives and all that. And yes, it is mentioned in the Cage. Sean O'Sullivan, quartermaster should know everything that was checked out and exactly what needs to come back. Agreed. Mark says, shoddy records keeping because the yeoman went on the mission instead of updating records. Perfect. Terrence Childs, Stargate staff weapons are better than Federation phasers. That's controversial. BJ says, okay, I buy the medical stuff and phasers being beamed down, but inventory would have told them it was missing to preserve the integrity of Rigel 7 culture. Pike should have done General Order 21 or 24. Yeah, I totally agree. That was a real failure on Pike's part, in my opinion, and makes him look like a bad captain. So, yeah, I don't like that part. But Jordy Parentau, Jordy, says, am I the only one who noticed that the new Enterprise computer sounded a little like Majel Barrett? You are not the only one. I noticed that as well when Ortegas was talking to it in her quarters. It sounded very much like Majel Barrett. I was like, is the computer sounding more like Majel Barrett? Because I think that's the case. So yeah, I noticed that as well. It'd be interesting to find out what they say, if they have done that or not. But yes, it definitely sounded more like her. Neil Hammersmith, Riker and Data used phasers to heat up a rock when took shelter from the crystal. Yes. Judge 1981 prepares for frack. Strange New World's timeline is just another timeline, so it's kind of relative. Exactly. You're getting no frack from me for that because it's true. It's timeline adjacent to prime timeline, in my opinion. Not quite the same, not very different, but not the same as prime. That's my opinion. Smart Smears, the show is really selling me on Mbanga, to be honest. Also, the planet has a really cool sci-fi hook to it. Felt like Doctor Who in a good way. Joseph Barbado, wait, didn't Pike say he was lieutenant when he first visited Rigel 7? I don't believe so, no. Eric Martin, Captain Pike needs to figure out the 23rd century version of putting a sock on the doorknob. Oh, Eric. Yes, Ozzy, sure. Mr. Captain 93, wasn't Moon Over Rigel 7 the song Kirk wanted to sing around the campfire in Trek 5? Yes, I believe so. That was just a nice reference back to the cage, I guess, so. Holy Christ, we have 54 likes. 84 people watching, 54 likes. By all means, hit that like button if you haven't done so already. Let's try to get those likes up to at least 80. And super chat if you're able to. I'd really appreciate it. Judge 1981, the thing I'm seeing in Strange New Worlds is mixing up the TOS episodes and changing them up. Sure. But that's fine. At least they're referencing good stuff, you know? So you need to phaser, rifle, shotgun, some alcohol. Nope. No. Nice try. The computer was getting ignored with Ortegas. I wouldn't use some irrational human is acting like an idiot. As a computer, I myself would be annoyed, so. Anyhow. Let me see. Judge 1981, I want to see them coming across the Nomad probe. They can't really do that. Not if they want us to think that they are prime timeline, which they very much want us to think. So, all right. Ozzy says it's the episode you were thinking of. With Kirk, double Kirk. I know, Ozzy. That's why I ignored it twice, because I got it. Mark says the computer was getting annoyed with Ortegas. Yes. Judge 1981, I want to see them come across Nomad probe again. Sorry for reading that twice, but my screen's all wonky right now. Sweet Paw says, according to the credits, Alex Kapp is the Enterprise computer voice. She can possibly do a passable Majel. Maybe they are also running it through some kind of AI filter to change the sound of it. Eric Martin throws in $20 super chat. You're not laughing at my jokes tonight, but have a drink anyway. I didn't know you were making jokes. I read some of your comments, but they weren't funny. What joke did you make? I don't get it. Crown Royal. Apple. Still Apple. Still the Apple. Cheers. Oh, thank you, Eric. Smarts Mirrors, I do still feel like Stranger Worlds is a bit too preoccupied with other shows. Feels like every episode's plot is closely tied to either TOS or Discovery, and now Lower Decks. Interesting, interesting fact. However, that being said, even though they are referencing other things, they're doing a fantastic job of making it good and seem original and feel like a good episode of Star Trek. Unlike Discovery, which had some really shit episodes. So Paul says it was nice to see Pike as the focus of an episode. Not a jab at the first 3 episodes. I've just missed Pike having a more active role in the recent episodes. Well, Paul, when they started filming season 2, his wife just had a baby, so he was away for a little bit of time for that. So, all that being said, that's why it wasn't so focused on Pike in the first few episodes, which I'm fine with. The dude has a right to have a family and spend time with his family. And I also like the fact they're focusing on other characters. Last week's episode with La'an was fantastic. Love that. Ortega's episode this week, that's cool. We had the Mbanga and Chapel episode before that, and then a Spock episode as the first one. And that's cool. Like, you got to give everybody some time. So I have no problem with that. At least they're focusing on other crew members, as opposed to Discovery, who only focused on Michael Burnham and Saru, and that's about it. So we don't even know half of the bridge crew's names. There's Bryce, there's Reese, there's Ariam, but she's dead. There's Detmer, there's Awashikam, and I don't even know their full fucking names. There's... Who's the blonde chick that used to play Ariam? Anyway, whatever. Discovery. Judge 1981, my screen is wonky here too. Yellow alert recommended. Terrence Childs, I just noticed that you're not coughing today. Good for you. Cough finally stopped. I'm coughing less. Geraldine Carstensen, $20. This episode gave me good TOS feels down one. Oh my god, guys. I cannot do it. I'm giving her all she's got. Ba-ba-da-ba-ba-ba-ba. Ba-ba-ba-ba-ba. I'm loving it. Should probably just leave the fucking cap off the thing, but then it's going to fall and spill everywhere. So, cheers. Thank you very much for the super chat. Hers says the bridge is deserted, but is run by computers. The only thing speaking. It's speaking, not talking, by the way. Speaking, what's it saying? Or speaking, let me hear. That's what he says. 6, 5, 4, 3. Get out! Get out of there! What lady was that in the movie? What lady was that in that movie, Majel? What lady was that in the movie, Majel or someone else? For the computer voice in Star Trek 3? I don't know. Could be Majel. BJ says, on the zoom out from Pike's quarters through the big windows, his cabin seems to take up a big part of the ship. Most of the non-officer crew must be living like in lower decks on the inner bunk beds. Or in the inner bunk deck. Yeah. Mark says, I actually remembered Detmer this time. Nielsen, that's her name. Thank you, Josie. Nielsen, yes. I like Nielsen. Actually, it's funny, she's got... Nielsen has more lines than some of the other ones that have been there since the beginning. Marco says, I thought Spock gave Ortegas a pad with her info on it. She forgot everything. LOL, what happened to it? She did. She took it. She set it on the console. And then if you watch her, she doesn't look there to see if it's there. Spock's holding his, and for some reason, I can't read this. What, you can't read standard? You can't read, like, English? Dude, of course you can. Anyway, whatever. Yeah, she didn't even look at her pad. So it's probably still on the Helm console. They weren't very useful, is, you know, the gist of the situation. BJ says Spock's plan with the pads apparently failed, even for him. Yeah, I love how even Chapel's like, it's a band-aid. It won't solve the problem, but number one, completely out of the picture. Ends up going to sickbay. I love how she says to Ortegas, "Yeah, I was flying the ship before you were, so that's cool. I thought she would have a bigger part in this episode. She didn't, because after that, she's pretty much done. She's out of the episode, which I guess is fine. I don't really like Rebecca Romaine Lettuce or her character in this, so that's fine, whatever. But I really expected her to have a bigger part. Yeah. The Patel, like the romance stuff between Patel and Pike, I thought was really cool. I love that you even get the whole Admiral talking to her saying, you didn't get your promotion, and she thinks it's because of the judge advocate guy, Solar, which it likely is. Pike thinks it's because of their relationship, and it kind of is, because she stepped up and helped out. Number one, and him saying, we need to take a break," and Patel's being like, "Really? Now is the time you do that? Seriously?" I thought that was pretty good, and the way it ended out as well. And even number one telling him off, like, "You always do this. You don't let people get close. You push them away." He's like, "I don't do that. Do I?" That was good. So, I mean, lots to like in this episode for sure. I feel bad for them being stored outside in cages where you can see your breath. That's some cool shit. So that kind of sucks. But good use of the LED wall. You could definitely see like the landscape there, and you can kind of see maybe a little bit where the LED wall was. But very good, clever use of that. I love that. Seeing the Delta as part of the garden was a nice touch as well. Like, they thought he was maybe asking for help, and he's like, "No, they adapted this symbol for me. I shouldn't have allowed that to happen. It's all being pulled out next time, or in a day, whatever." Nice SOS, really, to have that. Kind of reminds me a lot of the episode of Prodigy, All the World's a Stage, where Ensign Garavik, or Lieutenant Garavik, gets stranded, and the Enterprisians become a thing. So there's a lot of that kind of feel. Like I said, a lot of it felt very TOS inspired as far as story goes. Like, I could totally see Kirk and Spock in the same positions as this. But at a certain point, once they hit the guy's hut after La'an is injured, and he's like, "Oh, the markings match my arm. This is my house." As soon as they walk in, it's like, "Oh, this fucking feels like Stargate now." It was just such a weird transition for me, and it's not a bad thing. Those episodes in Stargate are good and whatever, but it definitely had a TOS feel to it, and I liked that. I appreciated that, and a lot of Stranger New Worlds has that. And again, I appreciate that. So, Clone of Jonathan says Spock said he couldn't even read his pad. Luckily, it didn't say her name is Taylor. Find her. Fleet Paw said Judy Durand was the Enterprise computer in Search for Spock. She went on to play DS9's Cardassian computer. Listen to Fleet Paw being full of all these facts. Peter the Caco, I wanted to comment, but everything is pretty much covered in chat already. Overall, best episode of the season because it felt like TOS. Oh, disagree, my friend. The last episode was probably the best episode this season. This was great. It did feel like TOS for sure, but could have used something else. I don't know what, but Cosmo, don't know if mentioned, but I loved how Pike used his hand to see how many hours light they have, which is a real life hack. Nice touch. Yeah, we can. The finger lengths can determine how many hours are left where the sun's position. BJ said number one from the cage was a take charge woman. It's what I love about the cage pilot episode. Don't see that much in Strange New Worlds. Yeah, as far as I'm concerned, it's only a different character. She doesn't act at all like Angel Barrett did as number one. So, Cosmo, by counting your fingers while holding this, yes. Mr. Captain 93. So the Enterprise shooting through an asteroid. Thumbs up or thumbs down? That was a thumbs down. That was just stupid. It felt too actiony, and for her to not only remember how to pilot, but then remember to incorporate phasers. I've played Bridge Crew. You can't fire phasers from the helm station. Now that is the TOS Enterprise, and you maybe could reroute some controls, but did she have the know-how to do that? Or was Spock didn't do it? He was sitting at where the phaser should be fired from. Whatever, it's not a big deal. I thought it looked cool. It was visually very cool, awesome, but kind of stupid, because how do you know that smashing through, because they still ended up having to smash through, wouldn't cause a lot of damage? I thought it was kind of stupid. Cosmo, unnecessary risk. Love the music cues. It was a revamped TOS episode. BJ said first episode of Disco used the Starfleet arrow as a signal to space. Giorgio had them walk around the desert, making it. The series went downhill from there, sadly. Yeah, I remember. I was so hopeful and optimistic, and seeing the big delta, and I'm like, well, not every ship has the delta in the TOS era, but whatever, it's fine. It's a conceit, because apparently, a lot of people have retconned that every ship did. Whatever. Regardless, it's stupid, and it had the split in it, so it was technically different. But anyway, yeah, I was so hopeful going into Discovery. Oh yeah. Stern Von Alk, why wasn't Zach wearing the astronomical collared uniform or the asymmetrical colored uniform? Because that's fucking stupid, and nobody should be wearing the asymmetrical collared uniform. It's just, to have an asymmetrical collar is stupid and looks hideous. So thank fucking Christ he didn't. My question is, why wasn't he wearing a Cage era uniform? More of like the sweater kind of style, like we see in the Cage. That's my question. Fuck the asymmetrical Discovery shit. Never see it again, fine with me. Doesn't matter. It's fine. That's why. Verpine, the garden was also like beginning of the first episode of Discovery. Fleetpaw, member for 39 months at the rank of Commander, as well as an awesome moderator. Says, I have one complaint. Oh God, here we go. We're doing episodes for all the main characters, but there's only 10 episodes. This would be a great case for more episodes per season. Unfortunately, we're stuck with 10 per. Still love the episode. Yes, but at least they're doing that. At least they're giving the characters and the actors the chance to do some fun, cool stuff, as opposed to just sidelining them and putting them in the background. Neil Hammersmith, the episode also reminded me of the TOS episode Patterns of Force. Not really. I did not, I mean, even thinking back at it now, I can't get any of the vibes you're talking about. It didn't feel like Patterns of Force at all to me, but again, that's just my, opinion, man. But no. If you mean by the main baddie being drugged and forgetting who he was, kind of, maybe, I guess. But not even. I don't know why. I don't know. I disagree with you. Paul Hitchcock, Paramount Plus, Prodigy. What's that? Oh, Paramount Plus. Prodigy, what's that? Yeah. Marley McClay. There's a lot probably already excuse me, discussed in this. So I will just say the characterizations of the locals is very original series, down to the humble servant who offers peace via humble teachings. Absolutely. Very TOS feel. Sean O'Sullivan, the scene was silly. They didn't even play Sabotage over it. Yeah, they should have added Sabotage. Somebody needs to re-edit that with Sabotage playing, because that's cooler. BJ says, on the phasers cutting through the asteroid, how did you know What's on the other side? A bigger rock? Well, sensors, I would normally say, but does she have access to all that information? I don't know, nor do I think so. It burned in the binary stars using Burnham's light. I mean, Zach, he definitely held a grudge against Pike. A little too much so. I love how he's like, I used Federation phasers and made myself king. There's no coming back from that. And Pike's like, hey, you know what? Everything you did is on you after me leaving you here. Sorry I left you here. I mourned for you. I mourned for you No, you didn't. You're a fucking captain. You're more than one person. You don't give a shit. You mourned for the loss of your crew. Sure, maybe you knew them. Probably didn't. And you also mourned for the fact that you fucked up and you lost people on a mission. That's not a great thing to have in your permanent file, as it were. So, yeah. Anyhow. Cosmo said, I thought the old guy was Scott Ridley at first. Who is Scott Ridley? Excuse my arrogance, but I don't. Or my arrogance, my ignorance, but I don't know. Trying to think of what other aspects there are to talk about with this one. I love I love the end. Are you sure this doesn't violate the Prime Directive? Listen, this asteroid crash has changed this planet's development thousands of years ago. It's already an altered culture. Might as well fix it. I love the way they get rid of the asteroid as well. Tractor it up with 2 shuttles and then tractor it with the Enterprise. Now, in my opinion, this is just my opinion, but flinging it the way they do, just like haphazardly, like, oh yeah. I mean, I'm sure they tracked its trajectory and figured all that out ahead of time. But I mean, they're in a solar system. It could hit another planet. Probably not inhabited, I guess. I don't know. It just seemed a little haphazard. It was cool. It was a cool visual. But anyway, I don't know. What do people think about the ending? What do you think about the Prime Directive thing? It wasn't breaking the Prime Directive at all, in my opinion. So I'm not saying that it did. I thought it was very cool, but I thought it was a little haphazard the way they dealt with it. Yes, they would have planned out. They would know exactly where it was going, but to fling it back through an asteroid field, which would in turn probably impact other asteroids, which could have their trajectory spin and possibly like eventually like crash into the planet. I don't know. It just seems weird to me, but not a big deal. Not a big deal. Wouldn't you, though, if you were left behind for dead and weren't? I know I would. Yeah, I guess so. Eric Martin, I wish Pike had old movies playing in his quarters like the first episode. That would have been neat. I do love his like hollow wall behind him, or like his viewer wall that has like the dock with the sunset. And you know, sometimes it's mountains, sometimes it's like a forest in the winter. It's kind of neat. Ridley Scott, director of Alien. Yes, I know who Ridley Scott is. You thought it was Ridley Scott at first. Okay. Kind of looks like him a little bit. I can see that, sure. Ryan K, I would have just blown it up on the planet. That scattered the debris everywhere. I still have the radiation. Mark says, I was waiting for Pike to tell Zach that he almost left Starfleet over the mission to show how he felt about the loss, but he didn't go into that much detail. Yeah, because he did. He wanted to quit. Dr. Boyce had to, like, help him out. BJ says they sent the asteroid to Klingon space. Section 31 operation. Fleetpaw, I would have destroyed it with photons myself, but that's me. Paul Hitchcock, I definitely like to see a season episode increase from 10 to 13 or 15 episodes. Happy to get what we're getting, but I think a few more episodes could work without leading to diminishing returns. I totally agree with you, Paul. Prime Directive didn't apply. I agree. Mr. Cap 93, the Enterprise D couldn't move a moon. No, why would it? It could move a moon probably, but not a stellar core fragment, which is complete, like it's absolutely like super dense. I don't know if that's what you mean, but Mark says, don't think it violated the Prime Directive either. Neil Hammersmith, I thought the patterns of force just because of the Ecosian culture was influenced by an outside force. They weren't influenced by an outside force, though. They weren't emulating the Federation. Sure, they put up the logo on the door and stuff, but they weren't like in All the World's a Stage, Prodigy. They weren't wearing the Enterprisians, which were doing this kind of freaking symbol, which I can't do. Emulated the Starfleet uniform and stuff. So I see what you're saying. Mr. Captain 93, during this era of Trek, the Prime Directive is more of a suggestion. Yes, it is. Fling the rock, and 300 years later, an alien race attacks the Federation for throwing a rock. What rock? Yeah, I can see that. BJ says, photon torpedoes. Aye, that is a wee... That is the wee little Scotsman in you, sir. I didn't think Fleetpaw had a wee little Scotsman in him. What's his name? That... Just don't even overthink that. BJ says, oh, I just read that. Eric Martin, I feel like Uhura sometimes when working. I was supposed to do that 2 hours ago. Did I do that? Yeah, 100%. I can relate to that. Peter Lacaco, $5. My mom, 75, told me as a retired hairdresser, Pike's hair was dope. Cosmo, season finale. Remember that asteroid we slinged away? It reached Klingon space and hit 3 ships. Verpine said Pike does have a swank pad. Oh, absolutely he does. He's the man. Fleetpaw throws in $5. One thing missing. Pelia missing all her memories, going crazy in engineering, probably swinging from the warp core or something. Yeah, she was completely absent in this episode. Mad Spectre, 47. I think I just got here, but I forget. Was I here the whole time? Yes, you were. You've already wrote a whole dissertation on this episode, and we've analyzed it quite in depth. So thank you for being here, Mad Spectre. Much appreciated. Clone of Jonathan. Pike's hair is far too dope for him to have been a worker in that environment, just like his hands. Absolutely. I was thinking the same thing, actually, when he was standing there talking. I'm like, how would this guy who's a miner have such a good haircut and keep his facial hair how does this happen? But that can be said for a lot of shows. And Paul Hitchcock, I thought they should have placed the asteroid in a location so that it would stay locked via gravitational orbital mechanics and not just fling it out where it could potentially come back and hit someone else. Yeah. Like I said, they probably planned its trajectory. Like the orbital plane's this way, they probably flung it out this way, which it might get caught again, I guess, but... Fleetpaw said that asteroid was probably the real cause of the burn. Burn! Says, now we know why the moon exploded in Star Trek Undiscovered Country. One shouldn't play pool in space. Yes, perfect. I love that. Joseph Barbato says, man, I'm craving a Big Mac. Are ya? Well, then go get a Big Mac. Trying to derail the conversation an hour in, as per the schedule. Neil Hammersmith, by series end, Pike's hair will get its own ship. Possibly. Marco says, about the Prime Directive, do you not think an asteroid hitting a planet would be considered a part of natural development of a civilization? Yes. Yes and no. Arguments can be made for both of those. And considering the way these people have been living, with the ruling caste knowing everything and having their memories, and the workers just automatic reset every day. I agree with Pike's decision. Sure, you could take that to court and have an argument about that. Is this part of their natural evolution? Yes or no? Kind of. Yeah, it is. But at the same time, I think it's fine. I think it's fine. But I see what you're saying. Chris Valdez totally called the helmet thing halfway through. Literal tinfoil hat army. Mr. Captain 93, I don't know about you, but until you mentioned disco, I totally forgot about it. No hype for this season. Yeah, there's a season 5 apparently coming at some point. Who cares? Joseph Barbetta's like, oh, you got me. Cosmo, wasn't there an asteroid hitting a planet in TNG Pen Pals? Maybe it's that one. There you go. Perfect example. Mad Spectre 47, this episode kind of reminded me of the Cloudminders, the Stratos episode. Yes, with the workers in the mines who, yes. Yeah, absolutely. Where the gas makes them kind of stupid and yeah. Yeah. Good call out there. Clone of Jonathan, Picard would have left the asteroid. Probably. TNG's a different time as far as the Prime Directive goes, so. Danny Jensen, Pike's hair is pretty epic. Best head of hair in Star Trek. Daniel's Hot Topics, Among the Lotus Eaters. Sounds like a weird episode. Peter Lukaku, Big Mac is half the size of a Whopper. I'm glad BK kept the burgers same size. Whopper sounds pretty good, honestly. I haven't had a Whopper in a while. Chuck Jones, since planes have autopilot and we now have self-driving cars, isn't it conceivable the Enterprise could have flown itself out of danger? Sure. Yes. Yes. Eric Martin, whatever happened to Sam? I loved his stash. He's still around. He's in the trailer, so he'll be around. He's still on the ship. He'll be in an episode or two. Don't worry, he hasn't gone anywhere. Mr. Captain 93, maybe the asteroid is what we see at the opening of DS9. Oh, that's great. Fleet Paw says, we haven't had a Quiet yell in quite some time. Is he even home? And Quiet came up on Facebook as someone you may know. I'd half a mind to friend him and send him a message saying, Quiet, oh, you had half a mind? He should have done that. And he's not home right now, but I'm sure he'll show up at any moment and freak out the dogs and make a whole shit ton of noise and be an asshole. So you might get a chance to hear me yell Quiet today, but I somewhat doubt it. This is the way. Marco says, I agree with Pike's decision too, by the way. Clone Jonathan, at least unless Crusher berated him over it. Yeah. Turd Ferguson, Pen Pals was tectonic earthquakes caused by dilithium deposits, not asteroids. Wah, wah. Yeah, I forgot what was the cause of the disaster in that one, but. Jeff W., it was a decent episode, but not like the last two. Agreed. That's good. I like having a little bit of variety of flavor of Trek episodes. Mad Spectre 47, I think in TNG we would have gotten a 5 to 10 minute scene with the whole crew debating the merits of the Prime Directive versus not doing anything. Yeah, absolutely you would have. You're absolutely right. Joseph Barbado, since when are you able to put all kinds of things on a Whopper now? I don't know. Daniel says Big Mac is half the size of a Whopper. I thought they were about the same size. Go buy one of each and tell me, Daniel. Sean O'Sullivan, when is the Lower Decks crossover coming? I have ordered a Lower Decks Strange New Worlds replica uniform. It looks immense. It's episode 6 or 7. I can't remember which, but it's called Those Old Scientists. So I think it's episode 7, honestly. We're getting there. Terrence Childs, hey, Captain Foley, I like your Sky Striker. The one you have behind you. I had one when I was a kid, too. Thank you. Yes, this is the new HasLab one, though. It's brand new. It's got a cool stand and a whole bunch of missiles, and I did an unboxing video of it. But yeah, that's the new HasLab one that was just released that I had to pre-order like a year and a half ago. It's freaking great. It's got a bunch of figures that came with it and a bunch of cool stuff. So thank you. I have an original Sky Striker as well downstairs, but this is a brand new one. So. Fleet Paw says Sean O'Sullivan. The crossover episode is episode 7. There you go. Ryan K. Feels like a pretty solid season so far. Absolutely, it has been a solid season, yes. Peter Lukaku throws in $5. Does Commander Cockings have acting experience? He's got shorts nailed down. He does not have any acting experience, no. But he is a director, so he does tell people how to act. So I guess he translated that to himself. Mark says, curious that it would take 2 Constitution-class ships to map a single binary system. I know they had to have a reason for Patel to be there, but it seemed odd. It happens sometimes in Trek. It's like, we're working with this ship for this thing. So it's fine. Turd Ferguson, there was an article not too long ago that the 3rd stage of Apollo 10 is still drifting in Earth's orbital wake. Stuff hangs around in space. Just saying. Agreed. I'm not arguing with you. I totally understand that. Fleetpaw shared the Sky Striker episode. Thank you, Fleetpaw. Urs says, I almost thought it's starting to sound like Food Yards and not Trekyards. LOL. Fleetpaw, that Sky Striker episode is on the Captain Foley personal channel. Yes, okay. Speaking of, has anybody watched my XO6 Cisco episode on the Captain Foley personal channel? Huh? I unboxed a Cisco XO6, which is fantastic, by the way. So check out the episode. Daniel says, the old scientists can't wait for that episode. I bet they will probably mention why the Strange New Worlds Enterprise looks different from the TOS Enterprise, and they come to the conclusion. I hope so. I hope they, Mariner and Boimler show up, and Mariner's kind of like, wait a minute, this ship doesn't look right. You need something like that. Mr. Captain 93, would you like to see a saucer separation this season? Sure, why not? Daniel's Hot Topics. That they are in a new timeline. Oh, yeah, for the lower decks people, yeah. Joseph Barbado, did you ever get in on that Tommy Enterprise crowdfunding campaign cap? I did, yes. Mine will be here in September. Well, it won't be here because they don't ship to Canada. So I'm having it shipped to a friend's place in Michigan, and then when he receives it, I'm going to go pick it up. So yes, I did. I couldn't let that one pass me by. So don't worry, that'll have a full unboxing and complete review video. Just like the, not this one, just like the Playmobil, yeah, the Playmobil one had, where I did a complete assembly video for it, and I did a complete hour-long review of all the features that it had. The Tomy one doesn't have as many features, but it's going to be a pretty cool ship, I think. So I'm looking forward to getting that. But the release date, it was supposed to be shipped in August. Was it supposed to be? Yes, it's supposed to be shipped out in August, but it's been pushed back to September. So yes, I did get it on the Tomy Enterprise. I could not let that pass me by. Jeff W., I hope we get the Gorn war threat. I'm sure we will. It was mentioned in the first episode. So Daniel says, there's a Gorn war threat? Yes, did you not watch the first episode? Where Spock steals the Enterprise, and they didn't want to cause a confrontation with the Klingons because they don't want a war in 2 fronts. And it focuses in at the very end. It's like Gorn battleship detected or something. Yeah, the Gorn are going to be a problem. Eric Martin, I saw the Cisco. He was awesome and detailed and non-linear. That's good. Jeff W., Daniel, yes, at the end of the season premiere. Peter Lukaku, if you're hungry, I'll send you some num-nums. I'm always hungry. BJ says it would have been funny if Rigel 7's issues were caused by the crash of Elon Musk's Tesla that he launched into space. It'd be funny to see it used as target practice by a Klingon bird of prey. I don't think it's leaving our solar system though, so. Joseph Brett said, okay, waiting for that review. Please do. How'd you get a little smiley face? That's cool. Yeah, I can't wait for the Tomy Enterprise either. It's going to be fantastic, I think. It'll be the same size as this one. This one I built. We'll have to do a side-by-side comparison between the two for sure. Orgod 6, IMDb, Those Old Scientists, Episode 7, dated for July 27th. Joshua Irwin, we have an LED volume, and damn it, we're going to use it, as you should. The volume, that's a cool technology, man. And it'd be cool to be dressed in the uniforms, being on the set, seeing the prop department having done their thing, and looking out and seeing the actual visuals that you're going to be seeing instead of green screen, instead of like nothing, and having them added later, to actually see the visuals that they have prepared ahead of time for you to look at. It must be fantastically immersive as an actor. I would love to see it. I really would. Mark says, I wish they would show the Kanzinti. Me too, 100%. Sean says, so much good merch does not sell well, as Americans tend to forget there are about 195 other countries and make no effort to make it easy. It's like they don't want our money. I feel your pain. I'm in Canada, and sometimes I have issues getting stuff from the US. Even on Twitter. It's like, ooh, there's a new trailer for some Star Trek thing on Paramount's Twitter. It's like, okay, I'm gonna go watch. It's not available in your area. It's like, fuck off, seriously? We're just over the border, you fucks. We're in North America, you fucking assholes. Yeah, don't get me started on that shit. And yeah, to not release merchandise or ship merchandise anywhere outside the border. Okay, it keeps your shipping costs down. Fuck off. Anyway, luckily enough, I know some people that it'll be delivered in my name, but it's to their address. So they know not to open it. Plus, it's a huge ass box, and he knows it's coming. And I obviously asked for permission first. So I actually had like 4 or 5 people I could have done that with. Some of them are quite far away. But yeah, Greg's just on the other side of the border over in Michigan. So it's not much of a drive. I'll go visit him for a weekend, stay and, spend the weekend with the guy. And me and Sylvia we'll spend the weekend with him and his wife, I guess. And then, yeah, come back. But you're right. This America only shit is, Fleet Pal Swift back. Playmobil unboxing, assembly, and review extended edition. Thank you, Fleet Pal. Hypno Amber. Hello, everyone. So happy to be here tonight. It's been a rough pain day. Oh, no. Tony Armstrong. Is it wrong that Daniel said old scientists, and in my brain I heard Rock's voice, the old ones? The old ones. No, it's not bad at all. Sean O'Sullivan. Elon Musk was only mentioned as a visionary by evil Lorca, not by a good person. That's my headcanon. Yeah, exactly. Mark says, Foley knows people. I do. I know more than one person. This is a good thing. Fleet Paw Swift back $5. Shooting space Teslas is no test of a warrior's medal. Oh, really? Oh, really? What about Commander Claw? I think that was his name. From Star Trek V. Shooting space garbage. Yes, he did say it was no test of a warrior's medal. However, leave our Voyager probes alone. They can attain sentience, for Christ's sakes. Don't shoot them. That's like murder. I'm just saying. Urs says, yeah, I have ordered a magazine from the States a few years ago. Never got it. Turd Ferguson, have you... That being said, I'm going to get fucking Blue Bricks, or whatever the fuck they're called, that make the Star Trek shit. Don't ship to Canada or the U.S. It's like Europe only. And I was talking to them, and they were like, you could do some reviews and stuff for us. Cool, I'll check into that. And the person got back to me saying, no, my boss said it's not viable for you to receive them and whatever. It's not the right target market. And I'm like, look Look at our analytics. We have people from a lot of other countries that watch us as well. So it would be beneficial to you, but whatever, you do what you got to do. And I understand trying to save on shipping costs for things like that as a company on their end, but you got to fucking keep in mind, if somebody wants something and they're willing to pay the shipping, then let them have it. Allow it. You're not paying the shipping, they are. So yeah, I would like to get a lot of those Blue Bricks kits. If anybody has any and they want to send them my way, please do so. I would still do reviews on them even though they're not, sponsoring us essentially. But there are a few I would like. But anyway, yeah. So again, same thing. But that's like almost like a fuck you to America. Like, yeah, you guys won't sell your shit over here. Well, fuck you. We're not selling our shit over there. Fair enough. It's fine. Have you seen the video of the US Excalibur refit from Bill Krause? It's a pre-TMP, post-TOS model. It's cool. That's the stupidest question I've ever heard, turd. Of course I've seen it. I've seen the thing in person. I saw the video on his YouTube channel. His videos on YouTube are kind of boring, honestly. Yes, they show the progression. They got beautiful visuals. They got nice music, jazz music and stuff, as per Bill Krause. But I wish there was some kind of narration. Anything to tell us what the hell is going on. Yeah, the visuals get it through what he's doing to build this model, but there's a whole history behind that ship. And I mean, we've covered a lot of Bill's stuff on Trekyards. He has histories for each of his ships, and it's really interesting. But you need to have that narrative thread for me to watch that whole video. I didn't watch the whole thing. I kind of skimmed through it because there's a lot of great visuals, but it's just sometimes 20 minutes of just music and stuff, and it's like, ugh, I'm gonna fall asleep here watching this. So I'm glad he's made a channel. I just wish he would add to it and actually have some narration, explain people what the process is, what the history of the ship is, maybe while he's showing this stuff, what the history of the build was, what inspired him to do it, where he took his inspiration from, blah, 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 blah. There's a whole bunch of things he could do. So while yes, it's great, at the same time, it could be better, is what I'm saying. Was that douchey of me? Maybe. I apologize. Sean says, I will say Paramount Plus learned its lesson and has started releasing shows at the same time as us before they put it out a day late. And that was after a year of not being legally able to watch shows at all. Yeah, that's another fucking thing. The streaming service stuff. Yeah, that's a whole issue. Stern Von Alk. Thought the Tommy Enterprise was getting pushed back to October because of production delays. Maybe it is October. I thought it was September. It might be October. Yeah, it did get pushed back. But yes, it's like a month or two that it got pushed back. So maybe it is October. Regardless, I'll get notified when it's arrived, and then I'll go pick it up. Fleetpaw says it was Pioneer 10, actually. Excellent. Thanks, Fleetpaw. Urs says, yeah, one of them props even screamed when Claw shot it in Trek 5. It did. Like an R2 scream. BJ, the Klingon Empire feared the Tribbles, but fell to a Voyager probe out of revenge for the death of its comrade in Star Trek V. Neil Hammersmith, Spock's dad was also a Klingon. He was. He played a Romulan, a Klingon, and a Vulcan. Fleetpaw said they were an ecological menace, though. All they do is eat and breed. They are useful for nothing else. Stern Von Alk. Still hoping the Wand Company tricorder comes to before I die. Well, they've released an update. There's another update coming. They're really come a long way on it. We're getting screen visuals and stuff now. It's really fantastic. I'm excited for it. It'll be added to that display case because that's a Wand Company communicator. That's a Wand Company phaser. And that's a Diamond Select tricorder. But eventually the Wand Company one will be there. And I'll be happy to have it. So I'm excited. But yes, before I die would be nice. Fleetpaw says, no, not douchey, more like offering tips as an experienced YouTuber. He actually'd me. What the fuck? Laughing my ass off. Well, you actually'd yourself. You said it was the Pioneer 10, actually. Actually. Sorry, Fleetpaw. I rely on you as a resource, so thank you. Just because you have Google, you think you're a wizard at everything. And don't say I don't Google it. I mean, I think you Google probably 30% of the things that you fill in facts-wise here. I'm not insulting you in any way. Like, I appreciate it. Because I can't really... I can Google while I'm on here, but, you know, it is what it is. Fleetpaw's quit. He's thrown down his wrench. I didn't understand what happened at the end with the asteroid. Can you explain it? Yes, the asteroid that crashed thousands of years ago was emitting radiation that made everybody forget on the planet. So they removed it from the planet and threw it off into deep space, so that everybody on the planet could remember and get back to their natural, civilization and progression of their civilization naturally. That's what happened. Eric Martin, Fleetpaw, you two need to make up. LOL. No. Sternbahn, I'll hope they ship to Canada. Well, if they don't, I know some people that I can have it shipped to and then go pick it up. It's amazing. Or if I can't pick it up from them, they can, once they receive it, ship it to me. See how it works? It's fucking great. Mark says, Beta Canon named the Romulan and Klingon characters with the letters for Serac changed. Nice. There's the classic Foley voices. Yes. Mark, Romulan, Kyrus, Vulcan, Krace. Nice. And it hit Praxis in Star Trek's Undiscovered Country. Ryan K says, gonna head out. Good night and live long and prosper. Good night, Ryan. Have a good night. Have a good day at work. Fleetpaw, probably more like 20% for things I'm not sure of and want confirmation. I have an uncanny talent for remembering minutiae that no one else needs nor wants to remember. I do as well. Daniel says, so they will cancel Prodigy and Lower Decks soon. I wonder what they will replace them with. Hopefully some cool live-action Trek shows. Well, a lot of people are speculating that they want to make room for Star Trek Legacy with Terry Matalas. Sure, whatever. Is that a fact? I don't know. Could it be? Yeah, it could be. They got rid of Discovery, so they're saving money there. Got rid of Prodigy now. I don't think they'll get rid of Lower Decks. I really don't. I think Lower Decks will go on for another couple seasons. Got Strange New Worlds. I'm sure it'll continue for a little bit too. Don't forget about the Starfleet Academy show that everyone wanted and clamored for and is now getting. Yay! Yeah, Fleetpaw, I don't think it's getting the axe anytime soon either. Eric Martin says, gotta go, Cap. It's been a long day. See you later, Eric. Sean T. Tommy making a replica Back to the Future DeLorean now. Yeah, I saw that email right before this live. It's tempting, but it's 1/10 scale. It's kind of a weird scale. But 1/10 for a car is pretty cool. So, do I really want a 1/10 scale DeLorean? No, I don't think so. There's other things I'd rather spend my money on. Turd Ferguson, I just had to pay $15 to watch for 2 watch straps from Watch Gecko, which is insane, but I wanted the product, so I don't know why you can't get international shipping from other countries. Right? Fleetpaw, fuck Starfleet Academy, no one wants that bullshit. Holy shit, Fleetpaw is in a mood this evening. Daniel says, Star Trek Legacy with Captain Hot Pants. I mean 709. Even at 50 and something she is, even at 50 and something, she is still nice to look at. Yeah. Mastingo, I like the concept of this episode, but the execution was not as good as when they did the memory wipe in TNG. Facts. Says, and the shock was unstable. And the shockwave unstabilized the sun that went boom and destroyed Romulus, and so we got new timelines. Stern Von Alt, probably more likely they don't want to do the customs forms. Like, I give a fuck. If people are paying you money for your product, take 5 seconds, hire one person that can handle customs forms. It's not that difficult. That is the stupidest goddamn excuse I've ever heard. But whatever. Paul Hitchcock, Paramount is supposedly bleeding money right now, so I don't know if they're clearing the deck for new stuff or just canceling things to try to save money. Maybe both. But yeah, it's more like a money-saving issue as opposed to trying to get the hit show that everybody's going to complain about because it won't be what they wanted. No matter what Trek show they come out with, Star Trek Legacy or not, people are going to be like, well, this isn't right. I don't like that thing. It's like, okay then. Thanks for, all your faith in us. Sean says, in Ireland, a few years you paid for an item and shipped it to the Northern Irish post box. They shipped it down to you for $3.50 or something, so you got free UK shipping instead of international cost. Nice. Fleet Paw said, I did warn folks that with my first super chat. Oh, you did. I forgot all about that. And here I am pushing your buttons. Hey, Fleet Paw, how's it going? Actually. I'm just kidding. Mastingo, missed opportunities. Says, Captain is mad because he couldn't push anyone out of the airlock. Fleet Paw is mad because he couldn't push anyone out of the airlock. Well, if you want to volunteer, as tribute, I'm sure he will hit the airlock button. Daniel says, however, I'm still disappointed that they made the Titan A into the Enterprise G. Hopefully the next Enterprise could be way cooler. I agree with you, Daniel. That was a real kick to the nuts as far as I'm concerned for the Enterprise G, but whatever. Fleet Paw, the night is still young, Earth. There's still plenty of time for assholes to show up. Not on my watch. Speaking of, we have 83 likes. Can we get to 100? Are there 17 people out there that haven't hit the like button? Hit it now. Boop. Turd says, if they do Star Trek Legacy, Jerry Ryan will be the oldest person cast as a captain in real life and in universe. Patrick Stewart was in his 40s. Same for Mulgrew and Brooks. Paul Hitchcock says, a 1/10 scale Back to the Future DeLorean will be in scale with the NECA Back to the Future figures. That's just for your information. Not trying to advocate one way or the other. That's cool. I just don't have any of the NECA Back to the Future figures. And now that I've got Cisco in the 1/6 scale from X06, I don't know, I need to get more. I got a 1/6 scale TOS captain's chair over there. He's got a Gorn sitting in it right now. One of the large Mego Gorns. And now you all want to see it. I know how you guys operate. See? There, are you happy now? Are you happy? Are you? Huh? You got to see the Gorn in the captain's chair. What are you going to do about it? Nothing. That's what. Hypno Amber, the Stranger Woods episode was okay. I only felt like watching it once, which is telling for me. Yeah, I didn't want to have to watch it again, but I had to. Sean says Prodigy was so cheap to make, and we know Trek shows will be rewatched for decades. Not to mention the values of growing the fan base for decades to come. is dudes in our 30s and 40s will start dying. Wow, that's a great sentiment. Fleetpie says, well, I mean, when your filming budget is the GDP of a small country per episode times 10 episodes, that would explain the cash hemorrhage. Go back to 500K to a million per episode and you'll do great things. Hypno Amber, I did not feel like I could see the TOS crew doing this story. It really felt like an old school writing. It was good. Yeah, I thought the same thing. I said that a few times. Urs says, yeah, that is true, but I have to clean the floors of the USS Foley after I spilled a whole whiskey barrel on the ship. But shh, the captain doesn't know yet. Why did you not invite me to the drinking of the whiskey before you spilled it? Mark says, love the Gorn in the chair. Mastingo, I agree, Hypno. I said the same thing to my girlfriend when we were watching. It's an old school Star Trek concept. Raymond Anders is here. Lieutenant Anders up to chat, Captain. Welcome aboard, Lieutenant. Neil Hammersmith, got to see some Ghostbusters too. JL Young, you need a 6-scale pug to sleep in the captain's chair. Ooh, indeed. Fleetpaw says, is the Gorn getting ready for his wedding? A la Lower Deck style? Yeah, probably. Urs says, and it was his favorite whiskey too. William Lovett, it's a Gorn, my lord, in a flatbed Ford, slowing down to take a look at me. It's a Gorn, my lord, in a flatbed Ford, slowing down to take a look at me. Sure. Mastingo, they should have had Ortegas fighting with Spock for command of the ship, like Worf and Picard did. Yeah, sure. Fleetpaw says, Crown Peach? Oh, you've done it now. Definitely get in the air. Yeah. That shit's sticky when you spill it, just for the record. You'll be cleaning that up for a while. Hypno Amber, I like it more. I think it's more likely that by canceling Prodigy, they're opening up a Mulgrew spot on Legacy, that they were opening up money for it. I disagree. She could do both voiceover work and Legacy. It's not that difficult to do voiceover work. I'm just saying. So I don't agree with that theory, but maybe you're right. Sean O'Sullivan, wish there was an in-joke about someone thinking their name was Mad Macduff when they lost their memories. That would have been great. Astingo, I hope you are right about... I hope you are right, Hypno. We need live-action Janeway. Hypno Amber, live-action Janeway would make me super happy. And Urs says, I thought I got marooned at least. I thought I get marooned at least. Buried alive. Buried alive. No, I'm just trying to think about this episode being... Is it the most boring of the episodes? Again, felt very TOS in its storytelling for sure. But, and pardon the pun, but kind of forgettable as an episode. There's not a whole lot that happens, yet still the pacing is good. Like, that's a sign of good writing and good storytelling and a good episode, that the pacing never felt too slow first watch. But I think on rewatches, knowing what's happening, there's going to be some slog spots in it. I find a lot of Stargate is the same way as well. Like, yeah, it's a good episode overall, great premise, but there's a lot of spots where it's just like the brakes get slammed on and you're like, ugh. You know, so I think that's this one. I think the other episodes this season have stood up better as a whole than this one. So this might be the worst of the season so far. Not saying that it's bad, because it's not. It's still a fantastic episode of Star Trek. But it's just one of those things that could have been better. So I don't know. I don't know where this is going to score when we do our full reaction breakdown tomorrow. But he's going to clean it with a toothbrush, right, Stuart? A cheap 99-cent one at that, too. Yes, not only is it going to be a cheap 99-cent toothbrush, but I'm going to only give him one bristle at a time. I cut those bristles off and give him one at a time to clean it with. Turd Ferguson, I think they should do a Captain Worf show where before Gorn dies. Just make it animated since he hates the makeup chair. Worf was awesome in Star Trek Picard. Hypno Amber, her contract on Legacy restricted her from doing Picard Season 3. Terry wanted her for at least an appearance. I don't buy that for a second. Who the fuck told you that? Is that one of those clickbait articles? Or is it something Terry Metalis posted? I don't know how much. That's just the stupidest fucking contract I've ever seen in my life. You can be the character we created for you, but only in this one show. But there's this other show happening where I could just make a 5-minute appearance and... No, just this show. This character only exists here. Like, nah, that's the stupidest shit I've ever heard. Eris says, no, I am using a Swiss Army toothbrush. Marco, interesting to me. This one is the best of the season. No, it's not. I mean, to you, sure, but I appreciate your opinion. I just do not agree with it. Tony Armstrong, just cracked open my bottle of Crown Apple in solidarity. Cheers. Aw, thanks, Tony. Yes, cheers. I'm almost finished this one, though. See? It is almost gone. You see. Maybe. And I still got like a full bottle of the peach. And this peach is the good peach. This is the limited edition. Trekyards Command, limited reserve Captain Foley. So, Crown Royal Peach. Good shit. So enjoy your Crown Royal apple, sir. Tony, that's your name. Neil Hammersmith, this is probably a vanilla episode, but it was solid, but dial was not cranked up like prior episodes. Joseph Barbato, that was my thought. It's a good episode, but it's a forgettable episode. Yes. Hypno Amber, sorry, I meant Mulgrew's contract on Prodigy kept her from being in Picard Season 3. I knew what you meant, but I still disagree with you. I don't know where you read that, but Tony Armstrong, too, you guys have a version of Cameo where we can pay you to do special stuff. Do we have a version of Cameo where you can pay us to do special stuff? It depends what the special stuff is. I mean, you can just email us at trekyards@hotmail.com and see if there's any, like, I don't know what you want specifically. If it's a video shout-out thing, I'm willing to do something like that for sure. I'm sure Samuel would too. Yeah. We're pretty cheap whores. We'll do it. Fleet Pass says still a solid 7, maybe 7.5. Oh yeah, it's definitely in that range for sure. Raymond Anders, I just got promoted to XO on the USS Sun Tzu in Starfleet International Fan Association. Oh, that's awesome. Congratulations on your promotion, sir. Mastingo, my ranking of episodes this season, somewhat controversial. 3, 1, 4, and 2. No, I would agree with that. I would agree with that 100%. The courtroom one and this one, yeah, I'd probably rather watch this one than the courtroom one again. So yeah, I agree with you. Mark, Mulgrew contract only being limited to Prodigy does seem like a stupid contract, but we are talking about Paramount. You're not wrong. William, hey, you probably won't remember, but in FCD, we briefly talked on the TNG movies on VHS. I had forgotten too till I spotted an Insurrection for 30 cents. Very cool to a collector like me. Thought I'd share it. That's awesome, man. Has a beautiful case. Cool. Mastingo says, quote unquote, special stuff. Oh, I just found the Romulan ale stash of the captain in the cargo bay. Oh wait, the alarm went off. Oh, here you go, feller. It's all yours. Jerry Williams, hi there. I got the season 1 of Star Trek Strange New Worlds DVD. It's kind of cool special effects, visual effects, deleted scenes, and new setting. I give it 4 live long and prospers out of 5. Hypno Amber, I did like how they really sold that discombobulated feeling of a planet messing with their brains. And Neil Hammersmith, if Batman captained a ship in Star Trek, it would be the USS Vengeance. No, it would be the USS Justice. Fleet Paw, if you want the special stuff, you need to subscribe to their OnlyFans. Trekyards OnlyFans doesn't exist.com. Jerry Williams, I can't wait to see season 2 of Star Trek Strange New Worlds. We're watching it now, though. Matthew Lebner, good evening, Captain. Sorry I'm late to the party. No problem, Matthew. Mastingo, oh wow, close to 100 likes. I hear if it gets to 100, Paramount might release a new trailer. Sure. Let's say that's the thing. Marco said, sorry if you talked about it before, but what was the peach liquor you showed by Trekyards and is available to purchase? It is Peach Crown Royal. You just go buy Crown Royal at the liquor store. But this is the Trekyards Command Limited Reserve Captain Foley version. So basically, it's as simple as you can get your own labels printed. So, and they send them to you for free. So yeah, overall a pretty forgettable episode, but I think I'd rather watch this one than the courtroom one again. It's cool to see some more Ortega's stuff. That was awesome. Pike was great. It's great to see Pike back, obviously. Pike's fantastic. Anson Mount's just fantastic. Got some Enterprise goodness as well. I mean, doing some funky stuff. Threading the needle with the asteroid and stuff. But still pretty cool. There's a lot here to like in this one, but at the same time, like I said, it's forgettable. It feels very much like an episode of Stargate to me, honestly. The plot and everything just feels very Stargate-y. So, you know, the Cap only has that bottle left because the rest got spilled down the hatch. Yeah, I know. Star Trek says, I am Erica, I fly the ship. I'm Spock, I would like the ship to go. Packlet it in the writer's room. So anyway, yeah, it'd be interesting to see where I score it. I think Fleet Paw's pretty on the mark with 7 or 7.5. We'll have to see. And just to say that it's the worst of the season for me doesn't mean it's bad. It's better than almost every Discovery episode. It's really good Trek. It really is. But when you have all really good Trek, even when that doesn't quite hit all the points, is going to be considered lower, right? So to say that I found it forgettable isn't saying that I didn't like the episode. I enjoyed it quite a bit. So there's that. It's a good season so far. I can't wait for episode 7, Those Old Scientists. I think it's going to be freaking great. We're going to definitely have a long conversation about that episode. Hopefully it's really good. So anyway, I'm looking forward to that. Can't get here soon enough, in my opinion. But anyway, I think I'm going to call it there, guys. So you can get liquor shipped to Canada, but not toys. No. Well, this liquor's Canadian, so anyway, I just drive to the end of the street to the LCBO, which stands for the Liquor Control Board of Ontario, which is what the liquor stores here are called, and I buy it there. And they only ship you the labels, by the way. So you here. I'll ruin a secret. This one came with this. Create your own customized label, Crown Royal. What you do is you scan that QR code. So I'm going to hold it there. You can scan the QR code. And you can have your own Crown Royal labels printed, saying whatever you want them to say. Any of the Crown Royal flavors, apple, vanilla, dark, peach, any of them. And they print them and ship them to you for free. So there you go. But anyway, I am going to call it there, guys. And thank you for watching. Hopefully you'll tune in tomorrow for the live at 4. And check out the edited review earlier in the afternoon. And if you haven't checked out the Captain Foley personal channel and my latest Cisco XO6 1/6 scale figure unboxing, please go do so. I'd really appreciate that as well. Hit a like. Say you came from this video. You know, say Captain Foley sent me in the comments or something. That'll make me laugh, I guess. Anyway, so until next time, I'm Captain Foley. That's Ensign Dot. That's Ensign Precious. And that's Ensign Lola. That's Cadet Lola. Ensign Precious. I'll give Dot Lieutenant because she's older. So until next time, see you everybody. Take care of yourselves and each other because I'm Jerry Springer now, apparently. Bye, everybody.